The first thing you want to do is check the equipment. Lay it all out and take a photo of it if it helps, but you want to make sure everything is there and in working condition. If something is missing or broken, make sure you notify the production center. Next, you have to set up the tripod. There are clasps on the legs that control how high the camera goes. You want to make sure the tripod is leveled so the camera is straight and at a good eye level. Once the legs are at a good height, check the spirit, or air bubble that shows the tripod is leveled. After this is done, you can start to set up the camera. There should be a plate attached to the tripod. If it's not there, check the bottom of the camera. Align the silver screw piece with the hole in the bottom of the camera and use a key or a coin to tighten it on. There's an arrow on the plate that shows which side the camera lens should be pointing. Make sure to loosen the screw that holds the plate in place and press down to allow the plate to enter. You can now slide the camera onto the tripod. The specific plate slides in at an angle. Then tighten the side screw. Now that the camera is secured, you can turn the camera on and insert the SD card. Make sure to close the door after inserting the card. Pull out the viewfinder on the top left part of the camera. Before filming, you have to format your SD card. This means it will erase anything you have on that card, so make sure you keep up with transferring your files onto your USB drive. Next, you can set up the lav mic. Attach the end of the mic cord into the XLR cable and plug the cable into input 1 on the top right of the camera. Make sure your settings are set correctly or you might not record your audio. Ideally, the mic should go up the shirt of your interviewee, but always make sure to ask what they're comfortable with. The cord of the mic needs to be hidden completely, and the mic itself as much as possible without blocking the sound. Plug in the headphones to make sure you hear the sound from the lav. You can also see the movement of the soundbars on the screen if the settings are correct. Have the subject say and spell their name while recording. That way you can check your audio output as well as have the correct spelling of their name. On the camera, there are 2 zoom rockers. You can also use the ring on the camera lens to zoom as well. There are 2 red buttons that start recording, and you'll see that you are recording on the screen and on the front of the camera as well. In order to lock the camera for an interview, there are multiple places on the tripod that control how much you can move the camera. There are screws that control both the pan and the tilt of the camera. When shooting B-roll, you probably want to have those loose so your B-roll is fluid and not rigid. There's a light on the camera that can be turned on if needed, but ideally you won't need it. There are 2 diffusers that can also be placed on this camera light. Additionally, there is an external light that screws onto the top of the camera. After filming, you should break down the camera in the same way you set it up. Don't forget to remove your SD card and make sure you have everything in your kit. Refer back to the photo you took at the beginning to ensure you have everything before you leave the shoot.